Hello and welcome back to another chapter of the tutorial by Dragons Are Cool on AO3. Chapter 3, On the Job Training. Green looked out the truck window at Tim's house. It stood there just as it had the day before. It looked so unassuming that for a brief moment, Green almost doubted if he had felt anything. But he didn't rank as high as he did, as quickly as he had, for no reason. He knew haunts could be deceiving. Jimmy told him he scoped out a haunt once that was in an active construction zone. Places didn't have to be old, abandoned, or run down to get haunted. That was something that had taken some getting used to. But as much scouting as he had done himself alongside his cousin, it was a point that he had proven itself true many times over. Green shuddered and shook the thoughts away. This is weird. He followed Skiz out of the truck while the other two got out on the other side. This is usually when I'm leaving. Skiz grinned and patted him on the back. Both Impulse and Skiz were privately elated to see him allow the contact with no apparent issue. Welcome to investigation, buddy! He got the back of the truck opened up and offered an arm to Scar to help steady him up the steep ramp along with his cane. The Vex accepted the help and they all piled into the back of the truck. Alright! Impulse clapped his hands together and grinned. I trust you guys did your reading, but we'll give you a bit of a crash course tonight anyways, if you'd like. That's probably for the best. Scar rubbed at the back of his neck with his free hand. I did not understand much. He rested against the desk at the front of the van and gazed over the wall of equipment on one side and a wall of monitors on the other. Skiz was digging around in a crate secured to the wall under the pegboards. Don't worry, Scar. We'll take good care of you. Skiz's voice echoed out of the crate. We will. And we've got some time before we get properly started anyways. We need to set up the outdoor equipment first. Impulse continued their explanation seamlessly. Skiz stood up with an armload of electronics. These are the spatial sensors and broadband EMF detectors. We set these up now while we wait for the ghost to wake up a bit more. It won't be active enough for us to get a proper evidence from until we've been hanging around a bit longer in the dark. Skiz would have wiggled his fingers spookily if he hadn't had an armload of equipment already. I didn't know there were outdoor bits. Green wondered, looking over to the sensors in Skiz's arms. Wanna come help me set them up, G? Skiz decided to push his luck. I usually leave the monitors to my tech guy over there. He nodded at Impulse. You just don't like calibrating the map and location sensors, you big baby. You know exactly how to set them up. Impulse bickered playfully, and Skiz giggled as he made his way out of the van and called over his shoulder. You love me anyway! To his delight, Green quietly followed the goofy angel out and along the path leading up to Jimmy's house. We'll place these at the four corners of the house facing in, and then Dup will calibrate them from the van, Skiz explained, hoping the clear task would help continue being okay around him. What'll they do? Green watched as Skiz set up the first of the sensors in the front garden. They looked a bit like a megaphone on a tent spike that the middle school robotics team had gotten their hands on. He pointed the open part of the cone right into the corner of the house. Couple things. They'll communicate with the sensors and radios we'll be wearing to show us where everyone is inside. He stood back up and motioned for Green to follow towards the back. And they'll give us a rough reading of the activity level by looking at the EMF levels. It's not accurate enough to get evidence from, not calibrated for that, but it's more than enough to tell us if a hunt is starting. How does it show where we are? Skiz set up the second sensor. That'll be one of the monitors in the truck. Impulse is showing Scar how to set that up now. They need these done before they can finish with that, though. Skiz passed him one of the remaining sensors. Go get the other front corner of the house. I'll meet you. Green nodded and made his way back around to the opposite corner to place the stake. He stood back in the front garden and looked back at the house again while he waited for Skiz. They really were so unassuming from outside. It always slightly baffled him just how rigid the bounds of a haunt were. Inside was the ghost space. Floor to ceiling, wall to wall, and everything in between. But as soon as he stepped outside, there was nothing to be felt. How do the sensors work if there's no way to sense the ghost from outside? Green asked as Skiz came back around the house. It'll start to leak out a little as the night progresses. Most of it stays inside, but there's enough for the sensors to get the readings we need from them. He hopefully and gently threw an arm around Green's, which still wasn't outright rejected. Whoa. Green did shiver a moment, which Skiz was more than used to. You're cold? Ah, yeah. Sorry, that's an angel thing, he explained with a smile, as Green continued to tolerate the half-hug. He guided them both back to the truck. My halo's pretty hot, so my shell is cold to compensate. Skiz looked up at them as they came back into the truck. His face quickly plastered with thinly veiled surprise. Skiz grinned. I'll set up for you. Okay. Impulse was going to have more good news to report back to Mumbo than he originally thought. Anyways, Scar, this is the calibration screen. Green, you should come see this too. He motioned Green forward to join them at the desk, shifting quickly back into work mode. Now that the sensors are up, we have to tell them to ping each other and figure out where they are and where our radios are relative to them. It's a whole thing. Should be easy because it's all coded to be automatic, but it never wants to work like it's supposed to. Which button is it? Scar leaned over to squint at the screen. It's this one. Impulse pointed it out on the screen. Sorry, I forgot to get the fonts changed here for you. I'll get on that tomorrow if tonight doesn't scare you off. Psh, me? Scared? Never. Scar waved his hand dramatically at Impulse before reaching for the mouse. This button, you say? He clicked it. That's the one. Just watch. There's going to be at least 3 error messages that pop up now and make you execute a couple steps manually every time. The 4 of them stared at the screen as the system chugged away. Any time now. The computer let out a soft ping. What? Impulse leaned forward and glared at the little green calibration complete notification that popped up. Okay, now you're not allowed to ever leave the team. Even if all you do is sit in the van and click that button, doesn't matter. 'Cause what the heck? That thing has literally never worked that smoothly as long as it's existed. No matter what fixes anyone tries, it's not just our team, it's everyone that uses this tech. Most of the GIN. I'm taking a picture of that. This is going in the reports. He pulled one of the cameras off the wall and rolled his eyes at himself before taking a screenshot and said, Skiz laughed. You and your cameras, man. Yeah. Impulse waved him off. Let's gear up then. Radios? He went to rifle through the box to get the radios, including 2 new ones Giz had gone to pick up earlier. What tools do you guys want to try out? Skiz gestured dramatically to the pegboard on the one side of the truck where their main investigation equipment was laid out. First, everyone should have a flashlight. What for? The house's power. Green accepted the radio Impulse passed him and clipped it to his belt loop before putting in the attached earpiece. By this time of night, a lot of ghosts like to trip the breaker. We'll need to find that first. Impulse passed Scar and Skiz their radios next before fixing his own and reaching for a flashlight. And they can mess with the lights a lot. What's this thing for? Scar reached past the flashlights and grabbed a purple glow stick off the wall. That's for UV. If you hear the ghost touch something, shake that up and look around for fingerprints. Ooh, is that the spirit box? Green grabbed the heavy radio-like contraption off the wall. I've always wanted to try one of these. Alright, dude, Skiz conceded, but don't come crying to me when the ghost talks back to you. That thing's scary. Yeah. Green waved him off, and also another contraption off the wall. What's this one do? That's dots. We can set that up once we find the room. You mean once Skiz finds the room? The angel waved the thermometer around a bit. The parabolic mic works just as well, and you know it. Impulse bickered back. What's that? Parabodactyl? Green cackled. Yeah, that's definitely it, Scar. It's the weird-looking microphone thing Impulse is wearing. Skiz explained through his own giggles. It helps you hear the ghost better. Which helps you find the ghost room, Impulse defended. You'll see, I'll find it before you. Sure you will, buddy. Impulse sighed and took a crucifix. Alright, everyone ready? He checked his watch before glancing out the back of the truck. Should be dark enough now. Why does it have to be dark? Scar looked up from inspecting the EMF reader Impulse given him. Ghost activity gets dampened by sunlight, Skiz patiently explained as they all made their way to the door. To get the evidence we need, they gotta be able to interact with stuff strong enough for us to detect it, and that can only happen at night. Green passed the keys to Skiz, who led the way into the house, followed closely by Scar. The angel was now coaching him on what to look for as he swept for EMF. Green watched them disappear into the house as he hesitated at the threshold. You alright, G? Impulse put a gentle hand on his shoulder. The avian nodded. You know, you don't have to do this. We can come back out at any time. We understand completely. I've never gone in a haunted night. It won't bite you. It won't bite, Impulse stepped past him into the house, parabolic mic in one hand, and the other waving Green in to join him. Or, well, never mind, it might. He finally stepped across the doorway and shuddered violently as the feeling of wrongness washed over him stronger than he'd ever experienced. You sure you're okay to do this, Green? Impulse turned to face him fully, lowering the parabolic to give his full attention. You really don't have to do this if it's too much. No, I want to. Green straightened his shoulders and took a deep breath. What am I supposed to do again? Impulse laughed and let his concern fall to the side for a moment. Mostly, you're waiting for one of us to find the ghost room, but you can see something. But if you see something out of place, let us know so we can check that if that's where the ghost is hanging out. Right. Green watched Impulse wander down the hallway and slowly followed. He fiddling with the spirit box as he went. In his fidgeting, he'd accidentally turned it on. The crackling static startling him into nearly dropping the device. He looked around and could see Scar and Skiz down past the dusty living room and wander away from them to one of the side rooms. Is anyone there? He turned to the buzzing static key box in his hand. Hello? And that is the end of the chapter.